Greetings, future criminologists. Welcome to another exciting journey of learning and discovery. In today's video, we'll explore criminal law and jurisprudence with 10 essential questions and answers. Set 6A. Designed to challenge your knowledge and strengthen your understanding. Stay with us until the end, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more criminology review content. Keep striving, stay dedicated, and let's achieve success together. This is Cesar Lombroso, guiding you toward your criminology goals.
Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you. Deuteronomy 16:20. Welcome to our comprehensive review session. In this video, we'll be tackling a series of multiple choice test questions to help you prepare effectively for your upcoming exam. Stay focused, take notes, and let's work through each question together to strengthen your understanding and boost your confidence. Let's begin our review. Directions: read each item carefully. Select the letter of the best answer from the choices given.
An act or omission which is a result of a misapprehension of facts that is voluntary but not intentional. A. Impossible crime. B. Mistake of facts. C. Accidental crime. D. Complex crime. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is B. Mistake of facts. Explanation of each choice. A. Impossible crime. This refers to a situation where an act is committed with criminal intent but due to the inherent nature of the act or the object of the crime, it is impossible to accomplish. For example, attempting to kill someone who is already dead. It does not apply here since there is no misapprehension of facts involved. B. Mistake of facts. This occurs when a person commits an act under a misunderstanding or ignorance of certain facts, and had the facts been known, the act would not have been committed. Although the act is voluntary, it is not intentional because the person does not know the true nature of the situation. This matches the given scenario. C. Accidental crime. This involves a situation where a person commits an act unintentionally, usually through no fault of their own, but it results in harm. There is no misapprehension of facts in an accidental crime, as the outcome was purely unintentional. D. Complex crime. This involves a situation where a single act constitutes 2 or more grave or less grave felonies, or where one offense is necessary to commit another. It does not involve any misapprehension of facts. Thus, the scenario in the question describes a mistake of fact, as the act is voluntary but unintentional due to a misunderstanding of the situation. A. Imposibleng krimen. Ito ay tumutukoy sa isang sitwasyon kung saan ang isang gawa ay ginawa na may layuning kriminal, ngunit dahil sa likas na katangian ng kilos o layunin ng krimen, imposibleng maisakatuparan. Halimbawa, ang pagtatangkang pumatay ng isang taong patay na. Hindi ito nalalapat dito dahil walang maling pag-unawa sa mga katotohanang kasangkot. B. Pagkakamali ng mga katotohanan. Ito ay nangyayari kapag ang isang tao ay nakagawa ng isang gawa sa ilalim ng hindi pagkakaunawaan o kamangmangan sa ilang mga katotohanan, at kung ang mga katotohanan ay nalaman, ang kilos ay hindi ginawa. Bagamat voluntaryo ang kilos, hindi ito sinasadya dahil hindi alam ng tao ang tunay na kalagayan ng sitwasyon. Tumutugma ito sa ibinigay na senaryo. Si aksidenteng krimen. Ito ay nagsasangkot ng isang sitwasyon kung saan ang isang tao ay nakagawa ng isang kilos na hindi sinasadya, kadalasan ay hindi nila kasalanan, ngunit ito ay nagreresulta sa pinsala. Walang maling pag-unawa sa mga katotohanan sa isang aksidenteng krimen dahil ang kinalabasan ay hindi sinasadya. Di komplikadong krimen. Ito ay nagsasangkot ng isang sitwasyon kung saan ang isang kilos ay bumubuo ng 2 o higit pang mabigat o mas kaunting mabigat na krimen, o kung saan ang isang pagkakasala ay kinakailangan upang makagawa ng isa pa. Hindi ito nagsasangkot ng anumang maling pagkaunawa sa mga katotohanan. Kaya, ang senaryo sa tanong ay naglalarawan ng isang pagkakamali ng mga katotohanan dahil ang kilos ay voluntaryo ngunit hindi sinasadya dahil sa hindi pagkakaunawaan sa sitwasyon. Infanticide is committed by killing a child not more than A. 36 hours. B. 24 hours. C. 48 hours. D. 72 hours. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Infanticide, as defined under Philippine law, refers to the act of killing a child less than 3 days, 72 hours, old. Answer, D. 72 hours. Explanation. A. 36 hours. This option is incorrect because the law extends the time limit to 72 hours after birth, not 36. B. 24 hours. Similarly, this option is incorrect because the time frame is longer than just 1 day, 24 hours. C. 48 hours. Though closer, this is still not accurate, as the legal period is 72 hours. D. 72 hours. This is the correct answer. Under the Revised Penal Code of the Philippines, infanticide is defined as the killing of a child less than 3 days old. Thus, the time frame is 72 hours postpartum. A. 36 na oras. Mali ang opsyong ito dahil pinalawig ng batas ang limitasyon sa oras hanggang 72 oras pagkatapos ng kapanganakan, hindi 36. B. 24 na oras. Katulad nito, hindi tama ang opsyong ito dahil mas mahaba ang time frame kaysa sa isang araw lamang, 24 na oras. C. 48 oras. Kahit na mas malapit, hindi pa rin ito tumpak dahil ang legal na panahon ay 72 oras. D. 72 oras. Ito ang tamang sagot. Sa ilalim ng Revised Penal Code of the Philippines, ang infanticide ay tinukoy bilang ang pagpatay sa isang bata na wala pang 3 araw na gulang. Kaya, ang time frame ay 72 oras postpartum. Ignorance of the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. A. Ignorantia leges non excusat. B. Parens patriae. C. Res ipsa loquitur. D. Dura lex sed lex. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is A. Ignorantia leges non excusat. Explanation. A. Ignorantia leges non excusat. This is a Latin legal maxim meaning, ignorance of the law excuses no one. It emphasizes that individuals are expected to know the law, and a lack of knowledge cannot be used as a defense for not complying with it. B. Parens patriae. This refers to the power of the state to act as a guardian for those unable to care for themselves, such as minors or incapacitated individuals. C. Res ipsa loquitur. This is a legal principle that means, the thing speaks for itself. It applies in cases where the nature of an accident implies negligence without the need for further proof. D. Dura lex sed lex. This means, the law is harsh, but it is the law. It underscores that even if a law seems strict, it must still be followed. A. Ignorantia leges non excusat. Ito ay isang Latin na legal na kasabihan na nangangahulugang, walang dahilan ang kamangmangan sa batas. Binibigyang diin ito na inaasahang alam ng mga individual ang batas at ang kakulangan sa kaalaman ay hindi maaaring gamitin bilang depensa sa hindi pagsunod dito. B. Parens patriae. Ito ay tumutukoy sa kapangyarihan ng Estado na kumilos bilang tagapag-alaga para sa mga hindi kayang pangalagaan ng kanilang sarili, tulad ng mga menor de edad o mga taong walang kakayahan. Si res ipsa loquitur. Ito ay isang legal na prinsipyo na nangangahulugang, ang bagay ay nagsasalita para sa sarili nito. Nalalapat ito sa mga kaso kung saan ang likas na katangian ng isang aksidente ay nagpapahiwatig ng kapabayaan ng hindi nangangailangan ng karagdagang patunay. D. Dura lex sed lex. Nangangahulugan ito na, ang batas ay malupit, ngunit ito ang batas. Binibigyang diin ito na kahit na tila mahigpit ang isang batas, dapat pa rin itong sundin. An act which would be an offense against persons or property if it was not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment. A. Compound crime. B. Impossible crime. C. Complex crime. D. Accidental crime. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is B. Impossible crime. Explanation. A compound crime. This term refers to a crime that consists of 2 or more offenses that are punished together but does not relate to the impossibility of the act. B. Impossible crime. This option is correct. An impossible crime occurs when an act which would otherwise be an offense against persons or property, cannot be accomplished due to the inherent impossibility of the circumstances, such as attempting to commit theft from an empty space where there is no property. See complex crime. This term generally describes a situation where a single act results in multiple crimes, but it does not pertain to the impossibility aspect. The accidental crime. This refers to acts that result in unintended harm or damage but does not specifically relate to the impossibility of the act itself. Therefore, the focus on the inherent impossibility of accomplishment clearly identifies the impossible crime as the correct choice. A tambalang krimen. Ang terminong ito ay tumutukoy sa isang krimen na binubuo ng dalawa o higit pang mga pagkakasala na pinarurusahan ng magkasama ngunit hindi nauugnay sa imposibilidad ng kilos. B. Imposibleng krimen. Tama ang pagpipiliang ito. Ang isang imposibleng krimen ay nangyayari kapag ang isang gawa, na kung hindi man ay isang pagkakasala laban sa mga tao o ari-arian, ay hindi magawa dahil sa likas na imposibilidad ng mga pangyayari, tulad ng pagtatangka na magnakaw mula sa isang bakanteng lugar kung saan walang ari-arian. Si komplikadong krimen. Ang terminong ito ay karaniwang naglalarawan ng isang sitwasyon kung saan ang isang gawa ay nagreresulta sa maraming krimen, ngunit hindi ito tumutukoy sa aspetong imposible. Di aksidenteng krimen. Ito ay tumutukoy sa mga kilos na nagreresulta sa hindi sinasadyang pinsala o pinsala ngunit hindi partikular na nauugnay sa imposibilidad ng kilos mismo. Sa makatuwid, ang pagtuon sa likas na imposibilidad ng katuparan ay malinaw na kinikilala ang B. Imposibleng krimen bilang tamang pagpipilian. The law which reimposed the death penalty. ARA 5,425. BRA 8,553. CRA 7,650. DRA 8,551. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The law that reimposed the death penalty in the Philippines is CRA 7,650. Explanation. ARA 5,425. This law is known as the Anti-Racketeering Law, which is unrelated to the death penalty. BRA 8,553. This law pertains to the Philippine Sports Commission and does not address the death penalty. CRA 7,650. This is the death penalty law, enacted in 1993, which reimposed the death penalty for certain heinous crimes. DRA 8,551. This law is known as the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998, also not related to the death penalty. Thus, RA 7,650 is the correct answer. ARA 5,425. Ang batas na ito ay kilala bilang Anti-Racketeering Law na walang kaugnayan sa death penalty. BRA 8,553. Ang batas na ito ay nauukol sa Philippine Sports Commission at hindi tumutugon sa parusang kamatayan. CRA 7,650. Ito ang death penalty law na ipinatupad noong 1993 na muling nagpataw ng parusang kamatayan para sa ilang karumal-dumal na krimen. DRA 8,551. Ang batas na ito ay kilala bilang Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998 na hindi rin nauugnay sa parusang kamatayan. Kaya, RA 7,650 ang tamang sagot. One who is deprived completely of reason or discernment and freedom of the will at the time of the commission of the crime. A. Discernment. B. Insanity. C. Epilepsy. D. Imbecility. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is B. Insanity. Explanation. A discernment. This refers to the ability to judge well or distinguish between right and wrong. It does not describe a condition of being deprived of reason or will. B. Insanity. This is the correct choice. Insanity is a legal term indicating that a person was unable to understand the nature of their actions or distinguish right from wrong due to a mental disorder at the time of committing a crime. C. Epilepsy. This is a medical condition characterized by seizures and does not inherently mean the person is devoid of reason or will. The imbecility. This term historically referred to a level of intellectual disability but does not specifically denote a complete lack of reason or discernment in the context of committing a crime. Thus, insanity is the term that best describes someone who lacks the capacity for rational thought and control over their actions at the time of the offense. A discernment. Ito ay tumutukoy sa kakayahang humatol ng mabuti o makilala ang tama at mali. Hindi ito naglalarawan ng isang kondisyon ng pagkakaayta ng katwiran o kalooban. B. Pagkabaliw. Ito ang tamang pagpili. Ang pagkabaliw ay isang legal na termino na nagsasaad na ang isang tao ay hindi nauunawaan ang kalikasan ng kanilang mga aksyon o nakikilala ang tama sa mali dahil sa isang mental disorder sa oras na gumawa ng isang krimen. Si epilepsy. Ito ay isang kondisyong medikal na nailalarawan sa pamamagitan ng mga seizure at hindi likas na nangangahulugang ang tao ay walang dahilan o kalooban. Di kamangmangan ng terminong ito sa kasaysayan ay tumutukoy sa isang antas ng intelektual na kapansanan ngunit hindi partikular na tumutukoy sa isang kumpletong kawalan ng katwiran o pag-unawa sa konteksto ng paggawa ng isang krimen. Kaya, ang pagkabaliw ay ang terminong pinakamahusay na naglalarawan sa isang taong walang kapasidad para sa makatuwirang pag-iisip at kontrol sa kanilang mga aksyon sa oras ng pagkakasala. The quality by which an act may be subscribed to a person as its owner or author. A. Responsibility. B. Duty. C. Guilt. D. Imputability. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is D. Imputability. Explanation. Irresponsibility. This refers to the obligation to answer for an action or its consequences but does not specifically indicate ownership or authorship. B. Duty. This term relates to a moral or legal obligation to perform or not perform an action, but it doesn't directly refer to the authorship of an act. C. Guilt. This pertains to the feeling of having committed a wrong or offense, but it does not define the quality of authorship or ownership. D. Imputability. This is the quality that allows an act to be attributed to a person as its author. It refers to the capacity of a person to be held legally responsible for their actions, indicating that the person can be deemed the owner or author of those actions. Ipananagutan nito ay tumutukoy sa obligasyon na sagutin ang isang aksyon o ang mga kahihinatnan nito ngunit hindi partikular na nagpapahiwatig ng pagmamay-ari o may akda. B. Tungkulin ng terminong ito ay nauugnay sa isang moral o legal na obligasyon na magsagawa o hindi magsagawa ng isang aksyon, ngunit hindi ito direktang tumutukoy sa pagiging may akda ng isang gawa. Si pagkakasala. Ito ay nauukol sa pakiramdam na nakagawa ng mali o pagkakasala, ngunit hindi nito tinukoy ang kalidad ng pagiging may akda o pagmamay-ari. D. Imputability. Ito ang kalidad na nagpapahintulot sa isang gawa na may ugnay sa isang tao bilang may akda nito. Ito ay tumutukoy sa kapasidad ng isang tao na legal na managot para sa kanilang mga aksyon na nagpapahiwatig na ang tao ay maaaring ituring na may-ari o may akda ng mga pagkilos na iyon. Something that happened outside the sway of our will, and although it comes about through some acts of our will, lies beyond the bounds of humanly foreseeable consequences. A. Fortuitous event. B. Fate. C. Accident. D. Destiny. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is a fortuitous event. Explanation. A fortuitous event. This refers to an occurrence that is unexpected and happens by chance, often beyond our control. It implies that while it may arise from actions we take, the outcome is not something we can foresee. B. Fate. This concept suggests a predetermined course of events that is unavoidable, not necessarily linked to human actions. C. Accident. While an accident can be unforeseen, it generally refers to an unintentional event that causes harm or damage. It may not fully capture the broader implications of being beyond human control. D. Destiny. Similar to fate, destiny implies a predetermined path, often suggesting that outcomes are preordained rather than random or beyond our control. Thus, fortuitous event best fits the description of something happening outside our control despite being linked to our actions. A fortuitous event. Ito ay tumutukoy sa isang pangyayari na hindi inaasahan at nangyayari sa pamamagitan ng pagkakataon, kadalasang hindi natin kontrolado. Ipinahihiwatig nito na bagamat maaaring magmula ito sa mga aksyon na ating ginagawa, ang kalalabasan ay hindi isang bagay na maaari nating mahulaan. Kapalaran ng konseptong ito ay nagmumungkahi ng isang paunang natukoy na kurso ng mga kaganapan na hindi maiiwasan, hindi kinakailangang nauugnay sa mga aksyon ng tao. Si aksidente bagamat ang isang aksidente ay maaaring hindi inaasahan, ito ay karaniwang tumutukoy sa isang hindi sinasadyang pangyayari na nagdudulot ng pinsala o pinsala. Maaaring hindi nito ganap na makuha ang mas malawak na implikasyon ng pagiging lampas sa kontrol ng tao. Di tadhana katulad ng kapalaran, ang tadhana ay nagpapahiwatig ng isang paunang natukoy na landas, kadalasang nagmumungkahi na ang mga kinalabasan ay paunang itinalaga sa halip na random o lampas sa ating kontrol. Kaya, ang pinagyayari na kaganapan ay pinakaangkop sa paglalarawan ng isang bagay na nangyayari sa labas ng aming kontrol sa kabila ng pagkakaugnay sa aming mga aksyon. A sworn written statement charging a person with an offense subscribed by the offended party, any peace officer or other public officer charged with the enforcement of the law violated. A. Subpoena. B. Information. C. Complaint. D. Read. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is C. Complaint. Explanation. A subpoena. This is a document that orders a person to appear in court or produce evidence. It does not charge someone with an offense. B. Information. While information is a formal accusation of a crime filed by a prosecutor, it is not the sworn statement referred to in the question. C. Complaint. This is the correct term. A complaint is a sworn written statement that charges a person with an offense, typically filed by the offended party or a public officer. D. Writ. This is a formal written order issued by a court, but it does not specifically refer to a charging document. Therefore, the term that best fits the description provided is complaint. A subpoena. Ito ay isang dokumento na nag-uutos sa isang tao na humarap sa korte o magpakita ng ebidensya. Hindi nito sinisingil ang isang tao ng isang pagkakasala. B. Impormasyon. Habang ang impormasyon ay isang formal na akusasyon ng isang krimen na inihain ng isang tagayusig, hindi ito ang sinumpaang salaysay na tinutukoy sa tanong. Si reklamo. Ito ang tamang termino. Ang reklamo ay isang sinumpaang nakasulat na salaysay na nagsasakdal sa isang tao ng isang pagkakasala na karaniwang isinasampa ng nasaktang partido o isang pampublikong opisyal. D. Writ. Ito ay isang formal na nakasulat na utos na inisyo ng isang hukuman, ngunit hindi ito partikular na tumutukoy sa isang dokumento sa pagsingil. Sa makatuwid, ang terminong pinakaangkop sa ibinigay na paglalarawan ay reklamo. This right of the accused is founded on the principle of justice and is intended not to protect the guilty but to prevent as far as human agencies can the conviction of an innocent person. A. Right to due process of law. B. Presumption of innocence. C. Right to remain silent. D. Right against self-incrimination. In the next 5 seconds, select the best response from the available options. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The statement describes a principle aimed at ensuring justice and protecting individuals from wrongful conviction. Answer. B. Presumption of innocence. Explanation. A right to due process of law. This right ensures fair treatment through the judicial system but is more focused on procedural fairness rather than the presumption of innocence itself. B. Presumption of innocence. This is the correct answer. It holds that a person is considered innocent until proven guilty, thus preventing the conviction of an innocent person. C. Right to remain silent. This right protects individuals from having to speak against themselves but does not directly address the prevention of wrongful convictions. D. Right against self-incrimination. Similar to the right to remain silent, this protects individuals from being compelled to testify against themselves, but it does not specifically embody the principle of presumed innocence. Karapatan sa angkop na proseso ng batas. Tinitiyak ng karapatang ito ang patas na pagtrato sa pamamagitan ng sistemang panghukuman ngunit mas nakatuon sa pagiging patas sa pamamaraan kaysa sa mismong pag-aakalang inosente. B. Presumption of innocence. Ito ang tamang sagot. Ipinapalagay nito na ang isang tao ay itinuturing na inosente hanggang sa napatunayang nagkasala, kaya pinipigilan ang paghatol ng isang inosenteng tao. Si karapatang manatiling tahimik pinoprotektahan ng karapatang ito ang mga individual na magsalita laban sa kanilang sarili ngunit hindi direktang tinutugunan ang pag-iwas sa mga maling paniniwala. Di karapatan laban sa pananakit sa sarili katulad ng karapatang manatiling tahimik, pinoprotektahan nito ang mga individual mula sa pagpilit na tumstigo laban sa kanilang sarili, ngunit hindi nito partikular na isinasama ang prinsipyo ng ipinapalagay na inosente.
I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. Philippians 4:13. This verse emphasizes faith, perseverance, and reliance on God's strength in all aspects of life, including challenges in law, justice, and moral decision-making. It serves as a reminder that with Christ's guidance, we can overcome obstacles, pursue righteousness, and uphold justice with integrity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more educational content. See you in the next video.